Welcome back. For our top domestic story this hour, we look to the U.S.-Mexico border. As it was recently announced, the Trump administration will send 5,200 troops to that border by the end of this week. In making the announcement, General Terrence O'Shaughnessy said this deployment is only the start of the operation.
We will deploy over 5,200 soldiers to the southwest border. That is just the start of this operation. We'll continue to adjust the numbers and inform you of those, but please know that's in addition to the 2,092 that are already employed from our National Guard Operation Guardian support that's been so effective. We have the authority given to us by Secretary Mattis. The units that are normally assigned weapons, they are in fact deploying with weapons. I think the President has made it clear that border security is national security.
The troop deployment comes despite the fact the caravan of refugees making its way toward the U.S.-Mexico border is still about over 2,000 miles away from Tijuana and is not expected to make it anywhere close to the United States for at least another 2 months. Repli journalists caught up with Mexican and U.S. residents from both sides of the border for their reaction to news that troops are headed their way.
I don't think it's going to help because the people have always crossed and they're going to cross if they want to.
It's only best for our country, because it's protecting. And then, of course, not have people that are not welcome in.
I don't know if they're actually going to stop them, and if they don't stop, what are they going to do, shoot them?
A complete waste of time, a complete waste of money, and that's just Trump and his ego. He just likes to do stuff like that.
We've already seen what they've done in Mexico with their border. They've just overran it. I don't believe that's going to be happening here, and to prevent that from happening, we're just going to have those guys help.
With immigration in the U.S. in question, we're joined now by immigration attorney Alan Orr of the American Immigration Lawyers Association. Welcome, Mr. Orr. I want to ask you what impact these troops will have, just considering the fact that Immigration and Customs Enforcement and U.S. Border Patrol are already so militarized.
Right. Well, absolutely none. So I think that the interviews that you did before where individuals saying this really isn't going to help, it really exacerbates the issue of sending troops there. And it's also important to know that they're sending 5,000 now, but there's up to 14,000 waiting to go. And so what are these individuals actually going to go to the border and do other than actually add to the deficit, right, and increase concerns within the communities? So this concept of the caravans being new, it's not new.
Right.
And they're not going there to enforce immigration law because they don't have authority over that. So there is no invasion happening. There are potential applicants coming to apply for entry to the United States.
That's been one of the key misconceptions that I've found in researching this segment. There's a lot of talk as though this caravan, first of all, like you say, is something new. Let's address that issue first, because these have been coming for a few years now, and they usually go unnoticed.
Absolutely. For at least a decade, they've been coming.
And so in those instances, from what I could read, though there might be hundreds or more people in the caravan along the way, not all of those people end up actually at Tijuana and then trying to cross into the United States. Many of them stay in Mexico. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. For one reason, Mexico has started accepting refugees at a larger number than the United States has. So they have actually added to their economy from accepting these individuals from these troubled countries. So they're in a better sort of humanitarian place than we are in the United States. So many people decide to stay there. Language, culture, similar, why even? And it's a very long trip, as you just stated. They're thousands of miles from the U.S. border by foot, right? Women and children. This is not an army or some kind of invasion. And the concept of these people being illegal or undocumented is irrelevant because they're not in the United States yet. So that would be a concept for anyone in the world who's come to the U.S.
And not all of these people are necessarily even, like I say, trying to make that step to apply to the United States or and apply for asylum. Are they trying to, but even though there's this conception in the media that they're coming in illegally, what is the actual process they seek to go through?
Well, we don't know until they actually arrive here. I mean, that's question number one. And we don't know what actually they're bringing to the United States. Some of them might actually have claims to citizenship. Some of them have other claims, right? We Americans are everywhere. So we don't really know what the right is until they appear at the border. But right now, what we know is that they're making a political statement by being a caravan, just like people who march anywhere, of sort of saying there are conditions in these countries that need to be addressed. And so that's what we should sort of turn to.
What do you say to Americans, though, like the one gentleman in San Diego who is concerned with, a larger amount of people trying to cross into the United States, or those who equate border security with national security, as we heard General O'Shaughnessy allude to when he was speaking.
Right. I think one of the most important things is to sort of vote, but this concept that there are tons of immigrants that come to every border every day. So 5,000 people coming into Texas is no more a bigger concern than the thousands of people who come into New York or California every day from other countries. Whether they do it documented or undocumented, those individuals still come in and apply for asylum by overstaying their visas or student visas or any of those other concerns. So this concept that someone's coming to take something from you or they're demanding something of you is problematic, right? Since World War II, we've been involved in sort of this national concern about refugees and people who are seeking political asylum in the United States. And that makes it better for us in this country. So if we're really concerned about national security, we would want to make sure that the world has a balance in it so that we don't have the uprising of the concerns that we had at the end of World War II.
Right. So, and this is something we've talked about quite a bit on. In question is how a lot of U.S. policies actually help destabilize these countries in the first place, and that's why people are coming up here. Finally, just very briefly, if you want to talk about why you think this is getting so much attention this time around, and you know, why now, considering they might not even be here for another 2 months.
Right. I think the real issue is the midterm elections, right? I think this administration is signaling to their base that we're serious about immigration. And you might have heard today about the birthright citizenship. They're doing everything they can to hit the right key with people who are going to the polls.
Do you believe they'll go through with that?
It's unconstitutional. As a lawyer, I know they can't do it. So it's just a messaging point to say to individuals, right, we want to do this. There have only been 27 amendments to the Constitution. The last one was in 1992, and none of them are negative rights. So this just isn't going to happen, right? It's just a talking point. So all these things add up together to sort of showing we're strong on border security. And what showing you're strong on border security doesn't mean necessarily keeping immigrants out. It means all the electronic problems that we have and also the internal issues that we have with our own American citizens who are doing this rampant sort of violence against our government and individuals in the United States.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there for now. I don't think the story is going away anytime soon. Maybe we can check in closer to the time this caravan is near the United States and see exactly how many people are coming and what all the fuss was about. Immigration attorney Alan Orr, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.